unify mankind, and illumine the world of humanity. May we all follow thy pathway, long for thy good pleasure, and seek the mysteries of thy kingdom. O God, unite us and connect our hearts with thy indissoluble bond. Verily, thou art the giver, thou art the kind one, and thou art the Almighty. Abdul-Baha.
Thank you. Item 1.5, confirmation of minutes of the previous meeting of Council held on the 26th of May 2025. Moved by Councillor Garrett, second by Councillor Deputy Mayor Tan. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? If there is no opposition, the item is carried. Item 1.6, disclosures of interest. Ms Weatherall.
Mr Mayor, I don't have any disclosures of interest that have been registered with me for this evening.
Item 2, public question time. Ms Weatherall.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. And is Zoran Makarovsky of Springvale here this evening? Zoran? No. If Zoran's not here, I will read Zoran's question out. It concerns wet cement concerns in Springvale. Why does Hanson Heidelberg Cement Group Westall Depot Springvale leave wet cement concrete all over the service lane outside its business on the public road? We run a business that restores classic vehicles called competition engines, and when taking cars for a test drive, they get covered with wet cement concrete residue. This is then difficult to clean and is damaging our newly restored cars. Our customers and staff are also complaining that vehicles are being damaged when driving past this business. We have no other way of coming or going due to the design of the roads around us. We'd like this issue addressed, please.
Mr Manivasagasavam.
Through you, Mayor. Thank you for your question, Zoran. Our planning compliance team will inspect the site to determine whether there are any breaches of the planning permit or planning scheme provisions, and will take the relevant action. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Mr Manivasagasavam. Ms Weatherall.
Thank you. Our next question is from Susan Smith of Dandenong. Is Susan in the gallery this evening? Susan Smith? Thank you.
Welcome, Susan.
Hello. My questions are regarding the community hub for Dandenong. Number 1, when will the next resident co-design session for the Dandenong Community Hub be held?
Mr Manivasagasavam. Is that your first question?
Yes.
Okay.
I've got 2 more.
Yes, thanks for your question. A number of workshops were held with the co-design residents over February and May this year. We appreciate the residents' input and contribution to the development of the concept design. Once the councillors have had the opportunity to be briefed on the project progress and also the information, it is expected to go to a council meeting for a decision on next steps and further sessions. We will provide further update to the co-design group in late July.
Thanks. 2, one of the reasons preventing finalisation of the concept design of the Dandenong Community Hub is the progress with the Dandenong Market Precinct Master Plan. They both need to be worked on together, so my question is, why isn't the resident co-design group involved in the finalisation of the Dandenong Market Precinct Plan as well?
Mr Manivasagasavam.
Through you, Mayor. Dandenong Community Hub concept has been prepared alongside the development and consideration of Market Precinct Plan. However, the precinct plan does not need to be finalised for the hub to proceed. Strategic planning activities such as the Market Precinct Plan are undertaken through extensive information gathering from all stakeholders. The Dandenong Community Hub project and also residents co-design groups are identified as key stakeholders with the needs to preferences and communicated and understood by the Market Precinct Plan project team. There will be an opportunity for the community to provide feedback in later this year. At that time, any committee members can provide feedback to the project plan.
Thank you, Mr. Manivasagasevam. Susan?
Can you clarify this, because I was a bit confused? So are you saying they're going to work out what they want, then after they've worked out what they want, we hear what they say, and if we don't like it, we say what we want?
I think Mr. Manivasagasevam said that the project
right?
will not be delayed or infringed without that included. So I'm pretty satisfied with that answer. So do you want to go
Thanks.
to your question 3? Thank you.
That clarified it. Number 3. In the February co-design workshops, residents put forward that the design be flipped so that the early years services would be moved by 90 degrees. This would allow space for a large playground. We were told this wasn't within the current scope and would need to be discussed by councillors. When will this option for the design being flipped be discussed by councillors?
Mr. Manivasagasevam.
In the 13th September 2021 Ordinary Council meeting, Council endorsed a motion to progress with the development of a concept plan and business case for Dandenong Community Hub for the southern end of the site, bordered by Close Street, Stewart Street and Sleeth Avenue. The current building concept occupies the entire southern half of the identified land, leaving no space for further development without going beyond the approved project boundary. Co-design group feedback, including the proposal for some to rotate the child services wing by 90 degrees, will be discussed with the councillors at upcoming briefings, and we will provide further update at late July to the co-design group.
Thank you.
Mr. Manivasagasevam. Thank you, Susan. Ms. Weatherall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our next question is from Sylvia Mastrogiovanni of Dandenong. Is Sylvia here tonight? Yes. You'd like to come up to the microphone. Thank you.
Welcome, Sylvia.
Long time, thank you. It's been a long time since I've been able to come, and I'm glad to be here. And my questions also have to do with the Dandenong Community Hub. Over the last 18 months, there have been 3 rounds of co-design sessions, but despite Dandenong residents asking for a playground like Springvale and Keysborough South community hubs to be incorporated into the Dandenong Community Hub, we keep being told that that is out of scope for discussion, despite being integral parts of the other 2 hubs. In the case of the market, a great draw card to get shoppers to the market, more shoppers, and central Dandenong in general. When are we going to discuss this?
Mr. Manivasagasevam.
Thank you for your question. As previously advised, the current building concept occupies the entire southern half of the identified land, leaving no space for further development without going beyond the approved project boundary. The co-design group preference for a larger playground will be discussed with the councillors at the upcoming briefings, including the sketches submitted by the co-design participants. We will provide further update to the co-design group in late July.
Thank you, Mr. Manivasagasevam. Sylvia.
Thank you. Could you clarify that southern part bit for me, please? I don't remember there being a southern part that we were limited.
Yeah, it is in the 13th of September 2021 Council resolution clearly identify the southern part of that section.
Okay. Oh well. Another question that has kept coming up but has not been answered is the use of the land on the King Street side of the hub. When are Dandenong residents going to be told what is planned for that? And why do we keep, why do we keep on being told that this is out of scope when council has never voted on a precise land footprint? I don't remember that.
Mr. Manivasagasevam.
Thank you. Happy to clarify. So, as previously advised, if you could see the 13th of September 2021 Ordinary Council meeting, Council endorsed a motion to progress with the development of a concept plan and a business case for a Dandenong Community Hub for a southern end of the site bordered by Close Street, Stewart Street and Sleeth Avenue. So it is in the council minutes. The current building concept occupies the entire southern half of the identified land, leaving no space for further development without going beyond the approved project boundary. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Manivasagasavam. Sylvia?
So we still won't know what's going to happen on the King Street side. When would we know that?
As I mentioned previously, we need to have that discussion with the councillors, and also if we wanted to expand the site, that's the council decision to make. So we'll go through that process. As I mentioned previously, we will provide an update to the group at the end of late July once we've gone through the process with the councillors.
Thank you. Oh, well, this question. Another question that has kept coming up over the last 18 months, but not been answered, has been the future of the area south of the Dandenong Learning and Activities Centre community garden. It was planned to be an area for a temporary expansion for the garden, but the Dandenong Learning and Activities Centre never used it. So why isn't it being taken back for use for the Dandenong Community Hub? Why couldn't we have that?
Yep. Through you, Mayor. As answered previously, the endorsed site for the Dandenong Community Hub is southern part. So this site is not part of that. And we need to discuss any expansion with the councillors, and then we'll provide further update to you in late July.
Being the southern part, but you've still got all that land, why was it limited simply to the southern part when we're such a big city, bigger than the other
Council hasn't made a
places?
resolution yet, so Mr. Manivasagasavam explained that it needs to come to a council briefing meeting, and we can discuss that at the time. But that wasn't part of the motion that was moved in 2021. And happy to talk that with you at the end of the meeting or at another time that is convenient for you. So thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you, Jim.
And we have missed you for a while. So,
Yeah, I've missed coming.
Yeah.
I have. And
Thank you.
thanks, Jim. I'll take you up on
Thank
that
you.
discussion. Thanks.
Miss Wetherill.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Our next question is from David Daff of Umemmering, and it concerns the Little Athletics Centre at Dandenong.
Welcome, David.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. As you can see, there's quite a contingent of Little Athletics here tonight to show the passion we have of keeping kids involved in the local community. And my submission was online, so you should have a copy of that. Given that local Little Athletics at Dandenong has been running for 53 years and is already contributing to the greater Dandenong Make Your Move physical activity strategy, it should be given every opportunity to continue and be encouraged to expand its local presence. A direct quote from this strategy is, "Sport and recreation opportunities will be affordable, diverse and accessible to all, especially for young people, families and those less well off than others." 80% of our current athletes reside in CGD area or the directly neighbouring suburbs just across in Casey of Doveton and New Endeavour Hills. A number of families do not have access to cars, so walk or ride to the centre. The centre has gone through a transformation of ethnic backgrounds in recent times and is now more aligned with the mix within CGD and has seen significant growth in membership as a result, with an expectation that this will continue. So my questions are, firstly, why is Council considering closing a local, accessible and budget-friendly activity? Would you like me to read all three questions at once?
I think all the questions are for Miss Gillies. Would you like all three questions? Yes, please.
The other is, why was the Robert Ruth Reserve assessed against international adult competition standards when it was never designed for this, so hence comes up very short? Why is there no detail of suggested maintenance costings given in the report that's supposed to be tabled tonight? And what standards are trying to be achieved with this?
Miss Gillies.
That's right.
I'm looking at the guys up. Yep.
Mike.
It's on?
One's working.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
David, thanks so much for coming tonight, and thanks everyone else for making the effort as well. It's very cold, so we appreciate you being here. And thank you also for the advocacy that the club have been doing for the families and all of the members of the club. In terms of the first question, in 2019, Council endorsed the Athletics Development Plan. There's a copy of that attached to the report tonight. Included in that, they did look at, this was back in 2019, it was 2 iterations ago of our councillors. It did look at demographics, influences to participation, utilisation, all of those things. I'm sure you've read it. It endorsed significant investment in terms of Ross Reserve and bringing that up to an appropriate standard, which is the IAFF Category 2. Part of that plan, there was recognition that maintaining 2 athletics venues was difficult to justify. And with reference to Robert Booth Reserve specifically, it was primarily due to the lower utilisation rates, it was due to the ageing assets, it was due to things like the pavilion not being junior or female friendly, those sorts of standards not being met. And that means that other community groups couldn't use it. The plan also recommended the amalgamation of the athletics clubs within the municipality with a view that they could operate then out of Ross Reserve. Again, what I would say is this is in 2019 that this was endorsed. And clearly since then, Council have gone on to open the new athletics pavilion at Ross Reserve, and conversations have commenced officers implementing Council's endorsed plan and the next stage, which is amalgamation. Our role as officers is to implement the decisions of Council. As you're aware though, and I know you've spent a significant amount of time with Little Athletics Victoria as well, and some members of the Sport and Rec team working through what some modified activities look like that enable both the club to continue utilising Robert Booth Reserve and Council's risk appetite to be met in terms of the mitigations put in place for those activities. As part of the recommendation for tonight that councillors will make a decision on, officers are recommending that the club does continue at Robert Booth Reserve, utilising those modified activities. We've also recommended that where council have previously approved decommissioning of Robert Booth Reserve and a master plan be developed, that those funds be rediverted to do some preventative maintenance and other works on the site. So depending on council's decision tonight, that's certainly what we've recommended. In terms of the master plan, again, that links back to what was previously approved in 2019, but we would absolutely recognise that the club are absolutely a key stakeholder as part of what that process would look like if it is approved. Question 2, I really thank you for the opportunity to clarify the misunderstanding about the site being assessed to world standards. Certainly in a risk report that was done late last year, certainly it did do a benchmark against world standards. That actually wasn't what we were looking at all. There was another column which actually looked at a condition assessment which related to national standards, but more importantly, safety and risk elements.
Are those national standards also adult standards rather than junior standards? Were they adult standards rather than junior standards?
Not in their entirety, no. We certainly didn't put as much weight on the condition rating as it related to juniors as adults, absolutely. So I do want to clarify, there is no question or consideration that we would be trying to bring this site up to world standard. Ross Reserve is that, facility for us. So please...
Sorry, that's not true. Some of the items that were actually brought to us that we were asked to do a risk assessment on clearly showed that it was adult expectations that the centre was actually being assessed on. Even in the risk assessments that were presented to us on the first
David,
round.
Sorry, I have to interrupt. It's only question time. We can't really debate, but I did let you say a few words there. But Ms Gillies, please continue.
Yes, certainly happy to look at that. But the reports that I've got with the Excel spreadsheet that's got the modified activities, that relates to the national standards, some other safety standards, and certainly isn't just related to adult competition. So I'm certainly happy to come back to you subsequently to clarify that. And sorry, just to close this one out, so in terms of the assessment, so
there's absolutely no suggestion from officers that we would be trying to get the site to that standard. The assessments, though, did identify substantial deficiencies in terms of safety, but also includes in terms of drainage issues, ageing infrastructure, all of which require investment. And because we've had that previous decision by council, any changes to that plan needs to be re-endorsed by council. Finally, the report being considered for decision tonight does outline some indicative costs. It does very clearly say in there that more work needs to be done to understand it in detail. But it does talk to some approximate costs from remedial work, subsurface drainage and full reconstruction. That's based on a report that was undertaken in 2018 and doesn't take into account things like cost escalations. But again, we know that costs have escalated and we need to, as we've said in the report, we actually need to do some more detailed investigations to understand the absolute costs.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms Gillies, and thank you for your questions, David. Ms Weatherall.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. And our last question this evening is from Philip Lamaro of Dandenong. Is Philip available tonight? Is he here? They here, sorry. Rainbow stickers. 2 years ago, Council put up multiple signs saying racism not welcome around the area to fight against racism, including at Harmony Square. On the 7th of December 2023, Council advised they would show the same commitment towards homophobia and transphobia by putting rainbow stickers on all council hubs and libraries. Neither need any credentials to display, as both are to show racism and homophobia are not welcome here in Dandenong. 18 months later, Council still has not put the rainbow stickers up. Can Council explain why they have put up the racism signs but have not put the homophobia signs up? And when will they be putting the rainbow stickers Council promised up on all Council libraries and hubs?
Ms Sajari.
To you, Mayor. Thank you, Philip, for your question. The diversity, access and equity policy ensures that all community members are able to participate in Council programs, services and facilities. Accordingly, Council and the staff strive to deliver services and engage with community in a way that respect human rights and equal opportunities at all, including our multicultural and LGBTIQA+ communities. In most recent cases, when a rainbow sticker is displayed on an organization entrance, it indicates that a higher level of organizational training has been undertaken to establish LGBTIQA+ inclusive practice. The gold standard is the Rainbow Tick accreditation, which has been undertaken by Stonnington and City of Port Phillip. This is different to that of #RacismNotWelcome signs, which they have been installed as part of an advocacy campaign. The street signs are a public demonstration that racism is no longer hidden and left to fester, but is acknowledged, called out, and not welcome. This was an advocacy campaign supported by the Multicultural and People Seeking Asylum Advisory Committee. In a similar manner, the LGBTIQA+ Advisory Committee may also be inclined to support an anti-homophobia campaign. This would be in addition to Council existing work in advocating for greater equality for LGBTIQA+ communities by supporting days of significance, such as International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia and Transphobia, known as I the Hobbit, wearing Purple Day and Trans Day of Visibility. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms Hajari. We'll move on to the next item, item 3, Officer Reports, Part 2. 3.1 Other, 3.1.1 Interfaith Network of the City of Greater Dandenong Contract Review 2025. Moved by Councillor Garrard, second by Deputy Mayor Tan. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? There is no opposition. I declare the item carried. Councillor Garrard.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to congratulate the Interfaith Network for the tremendous work that they do. And we have three of the executive team here today. They do an amazing amount of work on very little money. And the impact of what they do across our community is extraordinary. It is the oldest interfaith network, I understand, and it has an extraordinary number of faith networks, faith groups within the network, and it has an extraordinary role in educating the community and helping people to understand the different faiths that people have and helping people to connect through faith. It's an extraordinarily important organisation. It's run by incredibly competent people. I'm very proud that Dandenong has this interfaith network, and I sincerely want to thank all of you here tonight for the great work.
Thank you, Councillor Garrard. And yes, I've worked closely over the last 20 years, but as you said, the City of Greater Dandenong, even before that, the City of Springvale was the first to initiate the interfaith network, and I can say that many councils, not only Victoria but Australia, have copied what we have here. So I do say thank you to the committee here tonight, and we look forward to continue our work with you. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the next item, 3.1.2, Medium Grants Program 2025, Round 1, moved by Councillor Garrard, second by Councillor Trung. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? There is no opposition. I declare the item carried. Item 3.1.3, a review of gambling issues for Greater Dandenong, moved by Councillor Garrard.
Second that, Mayor.
Sorry, hang on. Councillor Garrard wishes to move an amendment. What is your amendment, Councillor Garrard?
On here, Mayor.
Is your speaker on?
Just one moment. The amendment acknowledges that the Robert Booth Reserve is currently used.
Sorry, this is a different item, Councillor Garrard. We're talking about the gambling issues of Greater Dandenong.
Sorry, I have apologies. I have misread the item.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Do we have a mover first? I need a mover.
Happy to move.
I'll move it, Mayor.
Moved by Councillor Formoso, second by Deputy Mayor Councillor Tan. Are there any questions? Councillor Garrard.
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry, I got muddled there. Given that Dandenong loses more money than almost all LGAs in Victoria, it loses $137 million a year, which is equivalent to feeding 46,000 children well. And it's no coincidence that we actually have the highest level of child poverty. And given that almost $1 billion is put through these machines and a mere 2.5 million is put back into the community, given the devastation and the family violence, the family separation, the mental health issues, the suicide issues that are associated with the tremendous losses that we see in the City of Greater Dandenong, will the Council write to our local MP and ask that the federal government reconsider and ban advertising, as the Alliance in the paper proposes, that they go ahead and ban all gambling advertising to reduce the risk to vulnerable communities such as ours?
Ms Wetherill.
Councillor Garrard, can I suggest we might want to amend then the resolution that Council approve advocacy seeking banning of gaming advertising material, something along those lines.
Okay. As the mover and seconder, Councillor Formoso, are you happy with those amendments?
Can I have a clearer understanding of what those amendments are, please?
Just give me one moment, Councillor Formoso. I'm just writing it down.
This could have been discussed in the briefing.
Ms Wetherill.
At a third dot point that says approve to advocate to the Victorian State Government concerning a request to ban advertising off gambling in Victoria.
Would you like federal
excuse me,
government
so just
included?
point of order to the federal government. It's the federal.
Oh, federal government.
Well.
Federal and state?
Yep, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Are you happy with those amendments, Councillor Formosa?
Look, I am, but I was really of the mind that we did something a little bit more tangible for our community directly. One of the things that I found really quite disturbing in this report is that 928 electronic gaming machines.
Councillor Formosa, are you happy with those
Yes.
amendments or not? And then you'll have an opportunity.
Yeah, I would like
speak.
to add one of my own as well.
Okay, what other amendment did you want to add?
So that the 928 electronic gaming machines that operate at the 14 clubs in the city of Greater Dandenong, we've got the 5th highest in Victoria. 61 more electronic gaming machines may be installed in local venues before the 989 quota is reached. So I'd actually like us to immediately cease that occurring, and if there's a way that we can add that to this motion, that would be great.
Ms Retherill?
Through you, Mayor, I suggest we can advocate. I'm not sure from planning point of view that there's anything that we can do around the gaming.
Well,
so it would be around advocacy again.
Well, that's to ensure that no more of them were to actually come into the city of Greater Dandenong, something along those lines.
Deputy Mayor Tan?
Yes, Mayor. Can we
can't keep on amending.
just defer this item then? Because we just need to discuss this further. Can't do it on.
Yeah, through you,
Councillor
I'm
Mayor.
more than happy to do that.
Councillor Deputy Mayor Tan
Happy to do that.
has called for a deferral. Mover, second by Councillor Formosa. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? There's no opposition. I will defer this at the next council meeting and get more information and do a proper report and proper recommendations. Thank you, councillors.
Thanks, Mayor.
Item 3.1.4, future use of the Robert Booth Reserve. Councillor Garrett? An amendment as well? What's your amendment?
So it has been circulated, as I said. So it acknowledges that currently Robert Booth Reserve is used by the Little Athlete Association and also the broader community as open space. And this dual use has functioned effectively and consistently over time. That it recognises the ongoing inclusive and community beneficial use of the reserve, that it confirms that the Little Athletes, Dandenong Little Athletes, will continue to operate at its current site at Robert Booth Reserve and will not be required to relocate to Ross Reserve. It commits to maintaining the current site to ensure it remains safe and functional for ongoing community use, including Little Athletes. It removes the previously allocated $240,000 from the budget for the decommissioning of the site, and it allocates $40,000 of these funds to repair the existing sprinkler system and to restore the signage at the front of the reserve, the Little Athlete signage. It directs that the remaining $200,000 be returned to General Reserve, and last 2 points, it does not proceed with the master plan at this stage that assumes or requires the displacement of Little Athletes, and instead supports a shared use model that is currently in place. And finally, it ensures that any future planning for the reserve is done in consultation with the Dandenong Little Athletics and the broader local community, prioritising equitable access, inclusion and evidence-based community need.
Councillor Garrard has moved an amendment. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Doe. Are there any questions?
Mayor, I'd
Councillor
like
O'Reilly.
to move a procedural motion, Mayor.
Okay, Councillor O'Reilly moves a procedural motion.
Mayor, I'd like to move that this item be deferred so that it can be fully considered at a subsequent meeting.
Thank you.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Second by Councillor Formoso. As it's a procedural motion, we'll go straight to the vote. All those in favour of the procedural motion? Moved by Councillor Formoso, Councillor Dan, Councillor Trung, Councillor O'Reilly, Member Mehdi, Deputy Mayor Tan and Councillor Yim. All those against, Councillor Garrard and Councillor Doe. The procedural motion is passed 7-2. Councillor O'Reilly.
Thanks, Mayor. Just by way of explanation, the motions that will appear to be being proposed, I think, on face value had faulty elements, and part of that is that they're fairly new motions. All councillors didn't have time to consider the wording and ramifications, and there are a number of issues around this, including the stakeholders of the club itself, which is very important. I think it's more diligent that council takes some time to consider all the issues and come up with a motion that is drafted not in a rush but properly, and will absolutely touch on all the points that this council wants to proceed with for the good of the club and for all involved. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor O'Reilly. Councillor Garrett.
Mayor, I just want to acknowledge that we have a large contingent of the little athletes here tonight, and thank them all for coming out on a cold Tuesday night to show their support for this tremendous club. I'd really like to acknowledge David, who leads the club, and to volunteers, and the extraordinary work that they do, and the extraordinary impact that they have on our community. And I would urge that if there is any further discussion on this item, that the club is deeply and closely consulted. But I would also urge that, given that 12 months there has been no sprinkler system, and that whilst a lot of people were holidaying, including yourself, I think, Mayor, these guys were bucket watering the whole of the field, the whole of the summer, because for 12 months the sprinkler system has not been repaired. And so I urge that the sprinkler system is repaired immediately, and there is no delay, because we know that the budget allocation is there, and we know that even whatever future use will require a functioning sprinkler system, and so that is done without delay, so that these kids do not have to spend the time that they should be enjoying their sport actually watering the field. So if we could make sure that does happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Garrard. And yes, I would like to thank the Little Athletics Club for joining us this evening. It's great to have you here, and it's great to see so many children here. This deferral will mean that you are on the table meeting the Director and also the Chief Executive Officer and myself. We would like to discuss with you and make sure that we go through a proper recommendation that the club is also happy. And this is why there's a deferral, because we want you at the table making the decisions with council. So thank you for coming tonight, and we really appreciate what you do for the kids in Greater Dandenong. Thank you. We'll move on to the next item, 3.1.5, list of registered correspondence to the Mayor and councillors. Moved by Councillor Trung, second by Councillor Yim. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? If there is no opposition, I declare the item carried. Item 4, notice of motion. There are none. Item 5, reports from councillors, delegated members and councillor questions. Councillor Garrett.
Thank you, Mayor. My first question tonight actually relates to an issue that does affect the Little Athletics Club. It is the gate, the dreaded Grandview Avenue gate. That is a constant problem, and it's a constant problem because it is not locked as it should be. And we've had numerous complaints, and numerous complaints have been put into the council. So much so that we have recently, last week, had a car driven in there and burnt out in the creek beside the Robert Booth Reserve, because the security of the reserve is compromised continually because this gate is not locked. So my question is, after many, many months of complaints, how will the council ensure that the contractor does their job and makes sure that this gate, which is not supposed to be opened at any time except for an emergency, is continually locked.
Mr. Mani Vasagasavan.
Through you, Mayor. Thank you for that. So, just to clarify a few things, this was not part of our contract since from before February 2025. It's only been added to our security services since February 2025. So that needs to be clarified. And also, our contractors goes and locks up, and then they have the schedule to prove that. And also remember this. So we'll work with the contractors to make sure that they have all of that. But remember, not only the contractors got the keys to this, the clubs got access to the keys as well. So we need to work with Peter's team around working with the clubs to make sure that when they use it, they lock those gates after the use as well. So we'll work with them on that. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mani Vasagasavan. Councillor Garrett.
Thank you for that response. My next question is regarding the art gallery. Many residents are asking me where the art gallery is at. Can we have an update on the removal of the PEP building and when work will resume, and what is the expected opening date now of the Dandenong Art Gallery?
Mr. Mani Vasagasavan.
So as you know, the PEP building is currently getting removed, so that's why the project is on pause. So the PEP building would be completed by, the removal will be completed by August, September this year. And then we'll continue to work on the procurement process for the new art gallery. After that, our expected time is around 18 to 24 months for completion of the project.
Thank you, Mr. Mani Vasagasavan. Thank you, Councillor Garrett. Councillor Yim.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question for the appropriate officer. Earlier last week, I was contacted by a local resident regarding the sudden removal of 2 Australian Post Office boxes. Her query was regarding the removal of 2 post office boxes, one along Darren Road and the second along Corrigan Road near Putt Grove. Is it possible to reinstate another Australia Post box between these spots, as the closest post office box to this resident is now along Kingsclere Avenue or Parkmore Shopping Centre?
Ms. Wetherill.
Thank you, Councillor Yim. And I know that Australia Post issues are very prolific at the moment because they seem to be rationalising a number of their post offices across Australia, as well as some of the post office boxes. It's not the responsibility of council to provide post offices or post boxes. However, we have an important role as a major community and local government organisation to advocate on behalf of our residents. So I'm happy to take that on notice, and I will look at developing a letter and meeting with the Victorian manager.
Thank you, Ms. Wetherill. Councillor Yim. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Tan.
Thank you, Mayor. Firstly, I'll just start with my council report from the last 2 weeks. On the 27th of May, I attended the Mother's Day celebration hosted by VASA, Vietnamese Australian Senior Association. It was a chance for us to thank you and for the care and support for mothers, all the nurturing mother figures in our lives. So generally, each day, every day of the year, and was also to celebrate the Vietnamese community and the vibrancy it brings to Greater Dandenong. On the 30th of May, I attended the Biggest Morning Tea Cancer Council fundraising, hosted by the Noble Park Community Centre. I think they've raised over $300, which is part of a small group during that morning. So the fund will that raised will enable the Cancer Council to advance to vital research, deliver education programs, and continue to provide essential support and service for individuals and families impacted by cancer diagnosis. On the 3rd of June, I attended the Reconciliation Week, which is hosted by the Springvale Library. So this year, National Reconciliation Week's theme is Breaching Now to Next, reflects the ongoing connection between past, present and future. So it's a time for all Australians come together and learn about our shared history, cultures, achievements, and explore how each of our contribution of achieving reconciliation in Australia It was great to see so many schools attended. We've got Springvale Rise Primary School, Calista College, Noble Park English Language Centre or School, and even Greenwood from Mulgrave, the kindergarten, 3 to 4 kinder there, and also a few more schools. So after the ceremony, we went to the Springvale Town Hall. They have performances about Aboriginal arts and dances, so it's great to see our kids enjoy the performance as well. On the 6th of June, I attended the exhibition launch, Resilient, which is by our local artist Janine Destin at the Noble Park Community Centre. This is my third exhibition, so my second launch there. It was great to see our local artist, so Janine's current body of works explore the symbolic meanings and visual beauty of the ginkgo leaf, brought to life through mixed media. She's an artist and an illustrator, and she also had held 2 of her solo exhibitions at Heritage Hill in Dandenong. Also, she's an artist and in the resident there as well. So I just want to congratulate Janine's and the community, Noble Park Community Centre, for celebrating and supporting our artists like Janine's. My question for tonight, Mayor, just regarding last week, resident contacted me. They're not pretty sad to see our Red River gum tree being removed from the 51A Douglas Street. My question to you through the relevant officer, I know that we've been allocated the fund around 155,000 to initially plant 15 trees in Noble Park Activity Centre. Now I heard the news that's going to be 180 trees now, so I just want to find out where and when we're going to start planting those trees. Thank you.
Mr. Mani Vasigasavam.
Through you, Mayor. Yes, that's correct. So we will plant 180 trees, semi-mature trees within Noble Park activity centres and the surrounding suburbs. But however, we got all the details and teams working on a plan for provide that information to the community where we're going to plant them and all of that. So all the planting will happen during this planting season, which is from May to October.
Thank you, Mr. Mani Vasigasavam. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Tan. Councillor O'Reilly.
No report this meeting.
Thank you,
Mayor.
Councillor Trung.
Thanks, Mayor. That last 2 weeks I only attend, the Mother Day with the Vaza, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Trung. Councillor Dunn.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to an event the Noble Park Community Centre will be hosting on the 26th of June at 12 p.m. It's a free information session in relation to upcoming changes to the government-funded in-home care and aged care programs and the new support at home program for interested residents out there. Just a couple questions from me tonight. A couple Saturdays ago, I know that there was a reuse and recycle drop-off day at Greaves Reserve in Dandenong. Given that rubbish dumping has been quite a bit of an issue in my ward, I was just interested to hear the results and feedback from an event like that and whether that has a substantial impact in lessening illegal rubbish dumping in our communities.
Mr. Mani Vasigasavam.
Through you, Mayor. Thank you for that question. Yes, it is pretty popular, and we do that 4 times a year. And last time it's around 485 vehicles use that one. So it's a good take up, and then we do reuse and recycle number of materials we receive there. And that is one of the opportunities we give the community to sort of use that one. There are other opportunities as well, but that does help in preventing some of the illegal dumping as well. But still, illegal dumping is the biggest issue for us. We are looking at other options and how we can sort of manage that. But we need to work towards that over the next few years, I guess.
Thank you, Mr. Mani Vasigasavam. Councillor.
Yeah, and I know it can be quite time-consuming and labour-intensive individually going around to each site. So something like that, they can reduce even a little bit of pressure on some of the council staff to pick up our hard rubbish. It's a good initiative. And just the second one, I saw a news item on the ABC last week about a local library in Perth who engages social work students to engage with young people and students as well. And we all know that libraries are a safe haven for many people in our community. They're one of the few places where people of all ages and backgrounds can gather to socialise and keep out of trouble without the expectation of spending any money as well. And I think this is only something that will become more relevant in the cold winter months that are approaching. Now, I absolutely love libraries. So when I saw Knox Library, I had to walk inside and I noticed there was a little corner at that library where they have a youth hive program dedicated. It's a dedicated space for youth workers to be present there at 2 to 5 p.m. on weekdays to engage with students and young people, to provide support and to provide young people with the information that they might need. I know our Springvale and Dandenong libraries have some really great programs throughout the year that caters to everyone. But I was just wondering, I could take this on notice as well, if there were any other similar programs targeted at youth at our Greater Dandenong libraries. I haven't been able to find any particular information, but I think this would be something that would be really great to showcase and put a spotlight on. Because there are people out there who are struggling, and the informal, casual environment provided by programs like this can really be beneficial. So I wanted to find out.
Ms. Gillies?
Thank you.
Through you, Mayor. Thanks so much for your question. We're absolutely familiar with that program and it's really popular. We've actually tried similar in Springvale and certainly is something I'm happy to come back to you with a more detailed response around how that went and future plans for similar programming here as well.
Thank you, Ms. Gillies. Councillor Dunn.
Yeah, fantastic. I think this is a good starting point. I'd love to continue that conversation as well. Going forward, and particularly if there were any other councillors in this chamber that are interested in that, I think it's a really good reminder too that local government isn't just a bureaucratic machine that they can sometimes be unfairly criticised for, but also an avenue for services and facilitating that human-to-human interaction and assistance that can really make it happen.
Thank you, Councillor Dunn. Councillor Doe.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to extend my warmest congratulations to Judith, whom I know from the Greater Dandenong Environment Group, on receiving the Medal of the Order of Australia. This well-deserved recognition really honours her decades of tireless dedication to climate conservation, particularly through education. Judith has been a passionate volunteer with also Friends of Braeside Park for over 2.5 decades, where she currently serves as both the president and also the nursery coordinator. Her leadership and commitment have absolutely made such a long-lasting impact on not only our local environment, but also our community. She also plays a vital role in Gardens for Wildlife, which Council supports, and the Field Naturalist Club of Victoria. She's truly a role model in the conservation space and is absolutely, for me, an inspiring example of how one person's dedication can absolutely make a profound difference in our community. I was also really grateful to be able to attend the performance on the land on which we meet at the Drum Theatre for Reconciliation Week. I really want to thank our arts team for making this happen and being able to support programs like this, and look forward to future programs that we can do with them. As always, traffic and transport and road safety are a very high priority for me, and I did meet recently with councils, with our manager for transport and civic development, as well as our chief engineer and major projects this past week to ensure that not only I continue to gain a better understanding across our priorities, what we're working on, but also to see what we can actually do from a council perspective to continue pushing with state and federal so that we can really protect our community. I also attended the launch of the in-person launch of the Young Councillors Network this past weekend, hosted by the Victorian Local Governance Association. For background, they did the first of its kind census last year for the outgoing councillors in Victoria, where it was noted less than 1% of councillors were under the age of 30, and 7%, I believe, was under the age of 40. We had councillors come from regional areas, so thank you to Councillor Rebecca Sluggett and Councillor Todd Wilson from Horsham Council, who literally drove 4 hours one way to be able to attend this event.
It was fantastic to get insights from both councils in regional areas and also look at sort of innovative approaches that as young councillors we can bring back to our local council. I also want to thank Marjan for answering Philip's public question earlier. Can you please clarify if and when we expect for our library staff to go through that higher level of organisational training that you mentioned, so that we can, have that rainbow sticker displayed at our new community hub, hopefully, in Keysborough Southwood?
Mr. Jari?
To you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor, for your question. We had this question before. Going through, it's not just about the training. Getting these stickers, really we need to go to a steps of accreditation process, which is resource and budget intensive. I don't have the exact figure, but if I recall it per service, it may cost around $50,000 to $45,000, and it apparently stay for 3 years, and then we reassess. So we, of course, we look at the budget and opportunities to how we can look at that. But having said that, it doesn't mean our buildings or our services are unsafe for our community, including our LGBTQ community, because the most important things, we had our diversity, access and equity policy, which it's welcome to all of our communities. But the sticker tech process, rainbow tech accreditation, is really a process we have to go, which we really have to consider. And as I mentioned, it's for each services and each building that requires the budget and resource.
Thank you, Ms. Hajari. Councillor Doe.
Thank you. And just a question for Peter, thank you. Can I ask what Council's doing to address the community feedback on the safe dispensing unit located in Springvale?
Ms. Gillies.
Through you, Mayor. Thank you very much for your question, Councillor Doe. Council do recognise the feedback being received from the community. The safe dispensing unit in Springvale is managed by Monash Health. So Council have certainly been working with Monash Health as well as VicPol in terms of the community safety concerns. We'll soon be able to distribute a bit of an education flyer for the community to help understand the safe dispensing unit and what it's all about. And the other really important thing, because I know we have had numerous reports of people witnessing discarded syringes in the local area. So if people are seeing that, I really do encourage them to contact Council's customer service team and we can organise some cleansing services, or if it, as with anything, if at any time anyone feels unsafe, you can make a report to Crime Stoppers, or if you feel immediately in danger, people can call 000. More broadly though, our CEO Jackie Weatherall has in the last week spoken to the CEO of Monash Health and we're arranging to meet with them more deliberately to talk through the safe dispensing unit and ways that we can better support the community with the location in Springvale.
Thank you, Ms. Gillies. Councillor Doe.
Thank you so much, Peter. And just a general comment, I look forward for when the future use of Robert Booth Reserve comes back to the agenda. Looking forward to hopefully more collaboratively working with the Dandenong Little Athletics Club to ensure that we're actually prioritising their needs. And I am a little bit disappointed that we couldn't get some immediate solutions for them, considering how much work they've done so far. For example, as Councillor Garrard mentioned, literally bucketing waters across the field. But hopefully this deferment means that we can have that more productive conversation and actually really look at making sure that we do come to the right solution for everyone involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Doe. Councillor Formoso.
Thanks, Mayor. Just wanted to highlight a couple of things. We had the Africa Day Gala dinner earlier this month, which was absolutely sensational. I think this is the 5th gala that I've been to, and we had over 550 guests from over 82 different communities. The Premier was in attendance, as well as the opposition leader as well, and it was a huge success. It was a great honour to be part of it again. There was obviously a lot of food, a lot of dancing, a lot of entertainment, and really celebrating all things African. So it was a great event. I have a few questions, if I could, very quickly this evening. There's been a little bit of a delay, Mayor, with the Pavilion Kitchen, and I did receive an email from the Chief Engineer. I just wanted to quickly ask the appropriate director if we're still on schedule now for the new completion date, which is the 20th of June, please.
Mr. Manivasagasavan.
Through you, Mayor. Yes, that's correct, Councillor. Yes, we are on track to deliver that on the June 20th.
Thank you, Mr. Manivasagasavan. Councillor Formosa.
Great, that's fantastic. Another question that I have is that apparently on the City of Greater Dandenong website under sporting clubs and grounds, that subheading of finding a local sports club, and I've actually had issues using this website myself, but the Greater Dandenong Table Tennis Club is not listed in that category. Could we get someone to rectify that as soon as possible and perhaps do a bit of an audit to ensure that all of our clubs are actually listed so that people are aware of what we have in the City of Greater Dandenong to make their move?
Ms. Gillies.
Through you, Mayor. Absolutely, Councillor Formoso. We'll look straight into that.
Thank you, Ms. Gillies. Councillor Formoso.
Thank you. And one last one is I've been travelling along Police Road of late and noticed that half of the road, so from the sporting ground through to Princess Highway, has been resurfaced probably in the last few years, but there's a huge amount of potholes from our Dandenong North end all the way through to Mulgrave. So if we could please get you to write a letter, Mayor, to Vic Roads and probably our local member asking for that to be rectified immediately, because I can only imagine what that is like for the residents, all those heavy vehicles going through on a daily basis, going through the potholes, and just that sound that it makes. I have reported this previously and had some of the potholes repaired, but it's just too many to report. It's the whole road needs to be resurfaced. So if we could please get you to write a letter, that'd be great.
Happy to do that. Thank you, Councillor Formoso.
That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Formoso. Just a few of the items that I attended last couple of weeks. I was happy to attend the launch of Eats Dandenong, which is at 56 Lonsdale Street, Dandenong. It's a great, plenty of food there, different nationality foods. I think when I went there was Lebanese, there was Afghan, there was Turkish, there was Indian, and these are these food caravans. Hopefully they'll open about 10 up, and people normally visit these in the evenings and late evenings, so I think it's a great place for young people to attend, but it's open for everybody, so it was great to launch that. And another business in Dandenong, which is just phenomenal. I keep on opening up a business every week lately, so that's fantastic. We also had Reconciliation Week, which started on the 27th of May right here in Harmony Square. We had hundreds of people attend that, and it closed in Springvale, where we had on the 3rd of June, in conjunction with the Springvale Library, where we had hundreds of children come, and it was great to hear some storytelling, and also the library and the City Hall was full of kids being taught about the past, and it's great to see that children are getting involved and learning about reconciliation. Many people in our community celebrated Eid, so happy Eid Mubarak to people in our community who celebrated. Also, I attended the Lonsdale project, which is on Mason Street, Dandenong, 107 apartments and 6 retail shops on the ground level. I was on the level 15. I was told that this is now the tallest building in Dandenong, and for the first time ever, standing in Dandenong, I could see the skyline of the city on top of this building. So, and if you went to the other side, you could see the beach, and if you went to the other side, you can see the Dandenong Mountains. Fantastic. At 15 levels, you can actually see a lot of things that you normally would never imagine from Dandenong. So I was told that this project will be completed towards the end of the year, so we welcome another 107 families that will move into this development. And here in Dandenong, we are moving, we are open for business, and it's great to see that the Lonsdale is on track to be completed this year. I also visited a lovely project. It's called Vespertine Gardens Project in Cady Street, Dandenong. Fantastic work. It's opened by the community, for the community. This project has got beautiful fresh vegetables. It teaches people how to manage a garden, use a garden, plant, whatever you need. We're going to definitely be working with them in conjunction to get as many people involved in our community. They had an open day the other day. I think they had 25 people just come from nowhere, so they made 25 new friends. I've been told that it'll be launching soon, so keep an eye open for it. And I think it's a great place to visit, and there's so much potential there that who knows what can happen in this place. So I think you could have a movie night there. They've got a blank wall which you can easily have a projector, few drinks, socialising in the beautiful gardens, and I congratulate for them for bringing this project to life. And I know it's going to need a lot of work, so look out for it. It's coming soon, and I'll let everybody know so they can join and help and contribute to this beautiful garden right here in central Dandenong. That's all from me. Ms Weatherall, you've got some questions taken at the last council meeting.
Yes, I do, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much, Ms Weatherall. Item 6, urgent business. No urgent business. Item 7, close of business. 8:08 p.m. Thank you for your attendance. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Good night.